Hello and welcome everybody back to the stream. Just setting up the rest of the stuff on my side. We're going to be doing some Endeavor Ops, which is not a real flight I don't believe, but I'm doing it anyways, from Denver to Jacksonville, or Jackson Hole actually. And we'll get on our way shortly. We're going to simulate that it's an early morning flight, and we've just got the at 4 a.m. wake up, and we've just got to the gate. Just gonna finish sending this text and I'll be right with you guys. Chat Isaac and Furl and Owls, welcome, welcome, welcome. Lone Star as well, howdy, howdy. Owls, yeah, we're doing Delta flight. Give me a Jazz flight, I'll give you a Delta flight. That's how it works. We're using the Hughes texture mod for today. Probably play some Fortnite after this as well, why not, right? Anyways, we're in the, I believe, Flight Beam Denver. Let me turn this thing off. Looking pretty good. Never actually been to Denver in real life, so probably what it looks like, I assume. Something like this. And if it's still COVID time, make sure to give 6 feet of space. Especially if you didn't put on nice fragrance, then I don't want to smell you. So we'll go in here. I actually haven't used this texture mod yet. I've only had that Air Canada one, so looking forward to seeing this one. I think the interior is basically the same, but I could be wrong about that. This actually says operated by SkyWest, so I picked the wrong livery, but it's how you know I'm not a professional streamer. I just picked one that's had the Delta logo on it, called it a day. It's an Endeavor to me. Look at the shine off the stabilizer. That looks pretty sweet. I asked Hughes as well in his next module to make it quite dirty at the under that APU section there, especially near the avionics bay down here, and all along here is always just like paint missing, or you know, chipped up, or some black rubber tar from the tires every time they land. So ask me if you can dirty that up a bit. But anyways, we're gonna start going on the airplane, and we're first aboard, so we'll open that up. So the cabin crew, if they were here, they'd start doing their cabin checks, and we'd start doing our safety check, which I don't have the checklist with me. It's on my iPad in my bag, but I'll just do roughly what we would do and call it a day. Aviation says, where can I download the texture mod? It's on the FSTO. Actually, Owls told me about that earlier because I thought it was still beta, but yeah, it's on there. Just type in CRJ V2, it should pop up as one of the Delta ones. And yeah. Anyways, basic stuff. Gears down, flaps are 0 and or the position outside. Steering is off. Hydraulics are off. Spoilers are tracked. Reverses are armed. Thruster cut off. I didn't say that already. Landing gear manual deploy is stowed. A to G is stowed. The emergency flap is normal, and the parking brake is hopefully set. Just because that's up doesn't mean it's actually set. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get the battery power on. Actually, the nav light would have been on from the section as well. The electric page. Obviously, we have no AC currently, so let's go page one more time. We get the DC page. Got the charger lights because the batteries are being used. Oh, my flap switch was down. So to bring them back up, I gotta put the 3A pump on, or it can just bug out and do that. All right. There we go. I'll start coming up with the ground power, AC power required. Duh. And I'll turn my 3A pump back off. So anyways, I was saying battery minimum voltage is 22 volts on the battery, and we're looking for no emergency bus activated there as well. I'll press electric one more time, and we get the AC power system, and everything's being powered by the ground power currently. Play some gaming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just finished up the stream. I watched both the landings. Look pretty good to me, my friend. Looking good. Press the stat page. We're going to look at any warnings that we wouldn't want to see. So stuff like APU fire fail, stuff like that. There's certain warnings you are going to see, and there's certain cautions and warnings you should not see. Press cast to go to the next page. Obviously in the sim, everything will work pretty much all the time. So that's all good. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, as a test, but we'll do that one later. We'll go to the hydraulic page. We're going to click our hydraulic 3A on, and it should pressurize to 3,000 psi, both the outside here and then the inboard brakes. Everything's looking good there. We can depressurize that. We don't really like to run that pump unless we're going to start pushing back and we're getting ready to go. No use to really run that. Back to the status page. And we're going to go to the FMS, actually sorry, the IRS. Go both to nav. We're going to initialize the FMS, so press index, FMS control. Everything is synced. Position initialization. Next page. You don't got to type anything in this part. What you do want is the GNSS position, the GPS position. You're going to want that and throw it in there. People sometimes type this in here. You can if you want. We're not going to enter this information. The only reason you can put this in here, or if you wanted to, is just to verify that the GPS is correct with the general coordinates. But we always use the GPS coordinates because that's the most accurate on the next page there. Index, IRS controls are enabled. Oh, already clicked that one. GNSS is both enabled, those are GPSs. VOR and DME is enabled as well. So that's been initialized and all good to go. We'll leave that on the flight plan page. We're going to go back here. We would check our oxygen. So the way we would set this up is we'd set our mic switch to the interphone. I'm not going to do it, but we'd scroll this sound up to maybe the 2, 3 o'clock position. We'd scroll the speaker up and click it down as well to about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock position. The intercom would go on, and the mic selection has to go to mask. Obviously, if the FO is doing it, you do it on that side. The captain do it on their side. You'd give it, you either give it a tap or press the button. You should hear the audio through the speakers. And that'll be that test part of it. Then you'd hold as well. You should get the cat eye, and you'd also hold these in, and the cat's eye should close when you hold these in. If it doesn't close all the way, there's a leak in the system somewhere. You can't really do the whole test, but it's kind of it. Mic switch goes back to COM 1. Speaker that gets unclicked. Back to cold mic, not hot miking anymore, and back to a boom, which means your headset is going to be there. Kind of surprised myself, not gonna lie. Yeah, well, actually on the first one it's kind of funny because I was in the car listening, so I couldn't really watch it, but I caught a quick peek at it, and I heard the mains touch, and almost like a spark of excitement. You're like, oh, get the nose wheel down. That was kind of funny, but yeah. I should mention, by the way, guys, PU Air Korea. I just made a video on that. If you guys want to check out PU Air Korea's minimized overhead panel. They sent that to me to review. I'm going to be using it today, but I'm not a high production value to get a camera in here just yet. But if you see me clicking stuff on without me actually doing it, that's because I'm using the PU overhead panel. And the video I just released is out now, so you can go take a look at what it is. And I have a link down below in the description if you want to buy it for yourself. I think it's for a complete steal right now. It's like about $99. So if you ever wanted one of them, or if you've always maybe never even thought about having a mini overhead panel, it's pretty generic. You can map it to any airplane you want and anything you want, any switch you want. You don't have to follow the labels either. So yeah, I'll be using that today. Anyways, overhead panel wise, electrical power is all good. Obviously the DC service stays off. There's no use to this. I see a lot of people do this. All this does is this transfers from the main bat to the APU bat. It doesn't really matter. Battery's on, external power is on, everything is guarded and closed, and the Gen 1, AP Gen, and Gen 2 are all auto. Fire detection test. This is kind of hard to see in the sim, so I'm going to move you kind of like this so I can see it. Oh, but got to be quick. Fire system test okay. And you'd be able to hold it rear world for a bit longer and actually visualize all the lights and the cargo down there as well. Hydraulic SOVs are all closed. These are shut-off valves in case you have a left engine and or a right engine hydraulic problem. The rest of the hydraulics are controlled right here. External lights, just nav for now, is okay. Fuel pumps are all deselected. Everything's deselected and closed here. This is our gravity crossflow, which I've never used. It's an abnormal procedure. in case your auto crossflow or slash your fuel pump crossflow doesn't work. So if you can't transfer fuel with pumps, if the pumps don't work to transfer it, you can transfer with just gravity. It's kind of bad if you got to that point. ABH says hopefully the CRJ-900 liveries on FSTO will be compatible with 24 because it's right now it's just 2020. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I probably soon. I mean, this got developed very quickly. I mean, V2 hasn't even been out that long, right? And these are already out, so it shouldn't be too long. Just gonna end this part now. Save me later. G says, how long did it take you to learn ground school at all the systems? Well, they sent you what are they called? CBTs, computer-based training, basically on your iPad. So you do all there's I forget how many. There was about 30 to 40 like presentations, and you'd watch them all and do the quizzes at the end. It's for my airline at least. And trust me, you don't learn everything. There's still like you learn what you need to learn and more about emergencies and how to deal with them. But we're not mechanics. That's not the goal of the training. The goal of the training is to identify the system that has failed or what caused the failure, and then go to the appropriate checklist and action that appropriate checklist correctly, if that makes sense. Bleed air anti-ice is from the normal side. Bleed valves are auto. Everything here does not matter if that's in auto. The APU, we'll keep this off for now, as we're not boarding ISLIP yet. We should probably start doing that. Go. Everything is deselected here. Hydraulics. All the B pumps go to on. We've already tested the A pump. All the Bs are looking good. 3,000. All in the green, which means they can all go forward. We'll leave the 3A pump off because the B pumps will depressurize themselves with the flaps out of 0, so it doesn't matter if they're in auto right now. Those are fine. What kind of tug is it? Is it the massive tug? Oh, is that one? You can add it. Cool. You can. Yeah, everybody. ELP's arm passenger 2 is guarded and closed. Everything on the cabin, the pressurization panel is good and set. Packs, we'll leave them off for now as the APU's off. Recirc fan can get turned on though. Wing anti-ice and Cal anti-ice, we'll do the test there.
Hello, Captain.
ADS heat test, okay. Window heat goes to low. Dome light get turned off. No smoking goes, actually wait, let me do this with my new panel. No smoking light goes to on. Belts can stay off. Emergency lights can go to arm. Our glare shield, everything is set up here. We're just checking from right to left that everything is deselected and looking good. Autopilot switch is in the up position. Everything's deselected on that side. Do our stall test next, which requires our 3A pump. It also requires the stab trim. And whatever, I'll throw the mock trim on at this point anyways. And we'll go to a 6-degree trim. Alright, stall test about to commence. Continuous ignition lights up, plus the stall test there. That's all good. EGPWS test. Oh, I just found a bug right there. So I think with the BORIS sounds, it actually doesn't do the ground proximity warning test, the short test. The ICAS messages activate, but we don't hear anything. Interesting. Oh, so I can't wait for this to make United Express liveries. I usually take those to O'Hare from McKinney. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think there's a default one, but yeah, obviously the mod will be better. Quick question, that's from Furl, because I just remembered, but didn't click the button. Is the X-side nav button to fly FMS1 off the right side, vice versa? Yeah, so if you're pilot flying from the right, you're gonna, whoa, that's a really bright screen. If you're pilot flying from the right, you're gonna have the X for button, transfer button on the right, so we're using right-hand side FMS and air data computer, ADC. In the sim, it really doesn't matter, but Shaq says you should take the RJ into Aspen right next to Denver. It's really cool visual approach and would love to see your skills. Yeah, we could do that for sure one time. Probably too late for me on that one. I gotta practice that one a little bit. Avian says, has anyone else had a problem where the bat sim will just disconnect randomly? I haven't had that one, but I had a problem where the mic just stops transmitting and I have to disconnect my microphone or disconnect from BATSIM and rejoin it, which is weird. Tony says, howdy, a nice nighttime surprise stream. Yeah, just home, just got home and played some games flying the RJ. I'm like, I kind of want to play the RJ too, so I threw up a stream. FO Pilot Depth, welcome. After dark, I'm liking this. Yeah, welcome. By the way, guys, if you don't know who FO Pilot Depth is, go check out his channel as well. Same with Alice. You should know Alice by this point, but if you don't, then go check out Alice as well. Where were we? Ground proximity warning test is okay. We'll do the CVR. Click and hold. Green light should come on there. 5 seconds. Sweet. Bring this brightness down too. Everything's kind of really bright. There we go. Come to the middle, just making sure that everything in the center, again, the warnings are as listed. In the sim, nothing's ever going to be broken, but we would check that the warnings are consistent with what part of the procedure we're in currently. So we're still going to have yaw dampener disengaged and all that kind of stuff. Turn the anti-skid off. We'll get the 2 warnings, inbound, outbound, and that works. Landing gear obviously is down. The MLG overheat. Alright, and then you'd also get the master warning plus the warning up there. Overheat fails has been tested, so it can detect if that system has failed, or it can detect if the overheat sensing has failed. I says, oh yeah, that shared cockpit approach into YYZ, we had both our mics out. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, I had that was with you. Yeah, I had that one. We are in early morning. Let's go to dim for now. And what that should do is that should dim the master. You know, we can test this. Is it any different? I don't think so. We'll leave it on bright. Alright. Pitch and roll are pushed in. The spoilers are full. Are fully retracted. The reverse is in gate armed. Our radios are set for now. We'll tune those later. Our transponder is standby. Our standby radio can go to standby. Stab and mock trim are already selected. Our yaw dampeners can be engaged. And you'll know that because the yaw dampener message goes away there. There's no yaw dampener 1 or 2 in op, and the YD has gone off at both PFDs there. Short select panel is normal. The radio, we'll set COM 3 to jump seat, or to intercom, just in case we do get a jump seater. They don't talk on the wrong radio. And then again, all this stuff. And landing gear is manual deploy is stowed. ADG is stowed with the emergency flap stowed as well. Cool. EPIS control panels, I'm just going to do my side on the right side. Are normal. Barrel is set in a second. I'll just hit the B button because I can. Love it. We're in white needles and everything else is good. So with that, get our clock working here. Lapse time, GPS. Let's start programming. I got 30 of you guys in here. I really appreciate that. If you guys can hit the like button as well and share it with your friends, be mostly appreciated as well. So, where did I put that thing? Flight plan, flight plan, flight plan. There it is. And I'll bring it up for you guys so you guys can see. As always. I kind of want to just... Wait a minute. There we go. There we go. Alright, I'll make that smaller. Cool. Hopefully it's good enough and I'll kind of get you a view where you can see this. So, we are going Endeavor 1333. I just made it that call sign, so it's not a real one. I'll go radio page, next page, EDV 1333. In there. Flight plan, we're doing Denver to KJAC. And I forgot that I can also do this here now. Flight plan, we'll import the OFP. We're going to not send the FMS. We're going to set payload and fuel. Then that seems like a lot. 10,000 pounds, 66. Let's check down here. They wanted plan ramp, yeah, 10 and 66. All right. We'll see. That's a lot of fuel to burn. Our takeoff weight is 76. We got to burn. Yeah, that's not much. We'll be fine. We just have to burn 2,000 pounds to get under landing weight. Our alternate is, scroll up here, KBIL. Never heard of it. Obviously, you do your research into your alternate and not just go with it. But anyways, DDRTH is we're going direct Darth. That's what I call it. I just realized my flight number didn't save there. 1333. There we go. I wonder why that popped a distance up once I put in 1333. Anyways, next waypoint is going to be CKW. I'm looking here, by the way, for it right now. Followed by DNW. And there's no star. So that's done. Departure and arrival. Let's check what the ATIS is going on here. You have an ACARS clearance. And it's Darth 1 departure. And I'll get a runway here shortly with the ATIS. 340 squawking 7446. Let's execute that for the time being. 7446. We'll put that in here, put that in here. VS6 340, blah, blah, blah. Departure frequency is 123.50. 23.5. We'll put that in the standby. Okay, so let's get the ATIS. We're going to departure ATIS. It's ATIS information November. Light wind, 1.5 mile viz, mist, broken 300, and -1. So technically we would have to get, actually, is there any, I had snow, yeah. We would technically have to get, it's not reported in the ATIS, but we'd have to get de-iced with type 1 at least, wings and tail. We're going to say on our taxi we've already done that, and we got de-iced, and we will be taken off because it's a 400-foot cloud and under with minus below 10 there. We will be taken off with wings and cals on, so it will not be a flex takeoff. However, departure runways runway 8. So we're Darth 1, runway 8 to Yami. And we'll put our navigaph, get that up and running here. Let me get back with the comments. I always kind of get sidetracked, don't I? You should read that one. So yeah, the shared cockpit. Yep, remember that one too. No worries. Flight Game said this is a real world route in the aircraft, right? I don't think so. I swear they used to do this, but I checked today and it's all Embraers, and I think a 319 or something like that. So it used to be. I swear they did this, but not today. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, runway heading. Probably like 088 or something like that. Runway 8, 083. Go over here. Don't know why my flight directors are activated. We'll get rid of those. I don't want those on. Autopilot's on. Alright, interesting. 083. I'm doing this with my autopilot panel, which you guys can't see. And the SID's probably going to get us to like 15,000 or something like that, because we're in Denver quite high. Okay, never mind 23, but let's actually check here. Runway 8 is at or above 17, so I'm going to set 17,000 as the high one there. 17,000. V-speeds will set in a second. Altimeter's already set. Level off height, it's 5,400 feet. We'll call it 6,400 feet on our acceleration height. And people would have been already complaining about the temperature, so let's go ahead and get the APU started up here shortly. There's the power fuel. What did I say? 6,400? I love that. It's so much faster to scroll in the new V2. That took forever before. Come on. It's a little too quick. Close enough. Alright. Node bit test. Everything's open and good to go. We're not fueling anymore. If we were fueling, we'd get an auto... I can show you guys, actually. Auto cross-flow inhibit. So if I go up here, this panel here, and the planes I fly... I've heard some operators have these. I've never seen them. This is on the fuel panel. So on the right side of the wing. You kind of really... You know what? Let me go... Let's do this. There we go. You'd open up this panel here, a little one there, and this is what's behind it. So as soon as you turn this power switch on, and I go down here, auto cross-flow inhibit. That's realistic. So if I see this message, and I'm going to start the APU, I'm going to do a very quick look over the right, and I would make sure that fueler is not fueling, because we cannot start APU with the fueling in progress. We can have it on, but we just can't start it. So sometimes the ground guys forget this, and we just say, can you go click the switch? And if they've already left, one of us has to run out in the wet or snow or whatever it is and close it. And that auto cross-flow panel goes away. Either way, not fueling anymore. Press the start switch. That'll get up and running. I'll give you guys a departure brief in a second, and we'll put that on the side, so I'll see it, but you guys don't have it in your face. Let me go back to the flight plan now. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Yep, alright, cool. So we're done on that. Performance initialization. Our fuel is going to be 10,420 is what we're loaded with. Now, technically, the airplane actually, if I put a number in here, 4,000 or 10,420, once the APU starts up, obviously that takes fuel. It's about 10 pounds every, about 20 pounds every 10 minutes. This starts to count down because that's total fuel. But this actually doesn't start counting down. Only when the engines are both lit up, or one of them's lit up, is when that'll actually start counting down. So I mentioned that, but I think it just got lost in the many bug reports that I submitted. But that's a pretty small one. So next altitude we're going is our flight level 340 is going to be our cruise. And there's no step climbs in there, which we do get them occasionally, not always. Believe it or not, we do though. Alternate cruise, we're going to scroll all the way down to the third page. Flight level 370. Fuel's already in there. All we need is 0 fuel weight, and it'll do fuel plus 0 fuel weight, and it'll add it together. 66,835 is what they said. What does my actual thing says? 66,240? 240 is what the actual iPad is loaded with. 240. And once I put this in here, it'll go this plus this equals this. All right, minus 400 pounds for taxi. We're about a 76, 200 pound takeoff. That's well within the limits. Next page, we'll go down up here, and this is our winds and temperatures. So our cruise is going to be 0. We can leave that in for ice deviation. We got a +1 tailwind. That's going to get us real far. And a -3 cruise and a -3 in the descent. Not bad winds, pretty light. After says I looked it up, and in ADS-B, Delta and SkyWest did at one point fly the CRJ-900s into JAC. Yeah, I swear they did some sort of RJ operation. Just not recently, so I don't care. I really don't do real routes. I mean, I take a 777 like on 40-minute flights. As long as I get all the, takeoff, climb, cruise, descent, landing, I'm good. I don't do all the railroad stuff. I'm in a fake call sign too, so I'm also a SkyWest livery being Endeavor. So yeah, I could care less. We're doing 2030 on the departure time. What's that actually? Because I changed the time. 1321. We'll call it 1350 departure time. That's wheels up. Taxi fuel default, I swear it changed that, but we'll change that later. Usually it's 400 feet, and reserve is 1680. Put that in there. Performance, we're not going to put a flex temp in, as we're going to be wings and cowls on. VNAV climb is okay. Our VNAV cruise will go to the top of the flight plan here under TOC. And we got 256.74, 256/74. Again, guys, you don't have to do all this stuff. I mean, if you send to the FMS, I think it gets most of it, but this is how we do it real world. So 4 degree for the descent. You know what? I'm going to change these defaults. I swear I did this before. Index, defaults. Let's see. Taxi fuel is default 400. And got reset with a different livery, maybe. Reserve is default for 1500. That's not right. That's right. Change that. $5,000 feet is the minimum strip for a 9. And that's fine. I believe it's 1. Alright. Cool. That's all done. Radio page, make sure they're both set to auto, unless we had a engine out procedure that required a VOR. We'd put it in there, or a departure that required it. MFD menu, we're flying from the right, so our VNAV on the right. We have speed and altitude, which I like, and range alt select, which I also like. I don't like anything else, to be honest. Maybe missed approach in some cases on my end navigation screen, but usually not. Left side, we'll have on, flight plan button, copy active, flight plan button, copy active. Both the FMSs are set up at this point. So, why don't I set the speeds up, and then we'll give you guys a brief. We'll put 100% wet. What does the ATIS say? Bird activity. Alright, what about the runway? I don't care about the birds. And it's Earth. Of course there's birds. I'll put 100% wet, flap 8. We'll do set all. We got a V1 of 142, a VR 147. That's a great difference. You usually don't see that difference. It might be because it's Denver and high dense. A V2 of 156 with a 166 set and 204. Looking pretty good there. Alright, so is it the default page on the real plane? Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. And each airline can set their own. Blue Sky says, "Sup, Captain? Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Hope you're doing well this night." Phil says, digitally says 555 condition codes. Awesome. Yeah, they should say 55 and then what percentages of what quadrants are wet. So, but anyways, 100% wet's more than fine. So let's go ahead. The APU is already on. I'm slacking here. We'll get the check the electrics page. Should do this earlier, and the APU is taking over the load from the ground power. So we'll disconnect the ground power switch. I think they said they're all ready to go and boarded, so we can disconnect the ground power. We can close the cargo doors. We can remove the leave the chocks. Gonna have to close the door once the gate gets removed there, so the door will stay open. In real life, guys, when I throw these packs on, what happens is, because there's a massive hole now because of that door being open, the airplane in auto temperature really doesn't know what to do. So right now it's -30 is the air that's being pumped into the cabin. The current temperature is 4 degrees. I actually don't know how it's getting warmer with that air that just went up. Anyways, in real life, what happens is this knob will be where it is, selected to 22 degrees on probably both, but the air that's going into the cabin is like it's on full blast. And this will be at 80 degrees that's going to the cabin, or a cockpit area, which controls, this controls the first class, and this controls actually no, sorry, this controls the back and the flight deck, and that controls the first class. It's reverse what you think. Anyways, in real life, because that honking door open, this pack shoots up in temperature, and usually we're just sitting here with one pack off, so we can let that, because everyone will overheat. It's just one of those RJ Bombardierisms, so we'll kind of try to simulate that best we can. He says, what OFP are you using? That's a good, actually, you know, let me get rid of that, because you guys don't want to see that. But the OFP is the JZA layout. It has all the great RJ, it's a great RJ layout. Best CRJ CFI channel on YouTube. Thanks, my friend. I really appreciate that. I got it typed on the 200 about 25 years ago, but don't remember much of it. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But I did get typed on the 200 as well originally. Never actually got to fly it because I did a conversion course to the 900, so I just flew 9s. Reset says, I can't wait till this comes out on Marketplace. I miss my RJ days. Yeah, you know what? They really should have released that, in my opinion, together. But they have no control, I guess, over the Marketplace updates, right? But really appreciate you guys watching. Got 37 of you in here, so really appreciate that. Again, guys, if you weren't here earlier, I'm going to be using my PU Air Korea panel to control these lights, and I can do it with this panel. I just made a video about it, so feel free to go watch that at the end of the stream or during the stream, whatever you like as well. And yeah, where was I? Let's do the briefing. So let me bring up the flight plan again. Actually. There we go. Where is it? Here it is. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And I guess you could use it here. You can go performance, get rid of that. Takeoff. See, it says it as flex. We're not going to be flexing because the engine and wing anti-ice will be on, so it's incapable of flexing with the wing and engine anti-ice on. And the real airplane, just even if you put a flex temp in, it won't do anything. It won't let you. We'll scroll down here, runway 08. It should say full or rated or toga, something like that. So it'd be full rated or rated bleeds open. We're flap 8. The anti-ice wings and cowls will be on. The continuous ignition, depending on the precip or what we're taking off behind, may or may not be used. The visibility was 1.25 miles, which today at Denver... where's it reference? No, taxi 10-9 alpha. A lot of charts here. Hide that one. Runway 08. 16, nope, 8. Lowest is RVR 5. Most operators in the RJ's RVR 600. So we're down to go down to 600 RVR, which we're way above. We are doing the Darth Vader, no, it's not called that. It's the Darth 1 RNAV departure with the speed restriction, accelerate 250 knots greater upon reaching 10,000. I could do that. If slower speed's required, no, it's not. Runway 8, climb heading at 083 to 5900, then a left turn cross, let me zoom out here, Royal. Out of below 10,000, track of 360 to turbine, or whatever it is, then a track of 316 to chicken. 14, at or above 14, track of 315. Now what would happen is I'd be reading that, and the other guy or person will be reading it in here. So track of 315 to chicken, 14,000 above. It's all in the FMS, so we're just going to go speed mode, nav mode after takeoff. And we're just verifying that it's all set there correctly. Track of farm, and that's above 16,000. And then a track of 315 to cross Yami at above 17,000. That completes the SID. The noise procedure is built into the SID in the States, which is smart. And the engine up procedure, I don't have the aero data with me, but the engine up procedure most likely is just runway heading. And because there's no terrain to avoid. So we'll get rid of that. You guys have been briefed. Put that to the side as well. And I'll just kind of minimize that. We got a V2 of, already mentioned the speed, so we're set on that guy as well. Let's do the rest of this. So the APU is on, the hydraulics are all on, the seatbelts can go on. Our cabin pressure, let's check how high Jackson hole is. So we'll go index, database, K, what is it, KJAC, I don't know where I'm going. We're at 6,400 feet, so, and in KJAC, so we're going to have to set this landing altitude all the way up there. So let's go up here. We're gonna hold the left shift key and scroll about 500 times. And I'm just gonna kind of go back to it and hope it's kind of close. Oh, jeez. Okay. I'll read the comments while I do this, I guess. I've been flying, I read that one, but yeah, and I didn't, been flying 900 mostly since it came out, just did 2 sectors and 700, got a lot better landings, not sure why. The 900 is a very strange airplane to land. We have 7s and 9s, the 700 is a little shorter, and it kind of likes to fly a bit better. The 900 is very strange. I don't know if this is going to help you, but what I do real with in the 900 is when I hear 50 feet, my eyes go to the end. At 40 feet I do nothing. Keep maintaining that 3-degree slope with the power and all that. 30 feet I start to reduce the power just a little bit, start working it down. 20 feet continue working the power, and also start your flare. Get the nose up more than you'd think in the 900 as well. You're not going to tail strike it that easy. The tail's it's kind of designed in a weird way. It's really hard to tail strike. And then at 10 feet, you should be idle thrust, continuing your flare, and adding your rudder. A lot of people in the training department will say, and it goes back and forth, that under 10 feet, if you flare the RJ, you're at a pivot point where you're going to slam the gear into the ground. I've heard counter arguments saying that's not true. I find if you flare under 10, it works just fine. But that's what helps me. The 900 is a very strange airplane to land in real life with the CFG engine and the short little stubby wings for how big it is. And you'll notice the worst landings you'll have, and probably in any plane, but the 900 specifically, is a no wind and a very light airplane, because you're coming in at 122 knots in a big airplane and there's no wind. It's gonna fall if you pull that power back. So the power reduction has to start a little later in that flare, maybe around 20 feet, just to keep it going a little bit more. Where are we at cabin altitude wise? That's pretty close, right? Let's do a couple of these. Good for me. All right, did I get it bang on? No, I'm pretty close though. Left pack can go on. Seatbelts are already on. Already did that. That part is all done. We'll go press the doors page. Obviously, the passenger door is still open. Here's a question for you guys, and let's see if you can get this. I'm gonna open the doors real quick. That could be removed. Let's open the service door. Let's open the cargo doors. Oh, you know what? My question's not working. That should be read from my memory, but I'll have to go back. Anyways. I'll come back to you when I got the question figured out in my own brain. Let's get the GSX. Get the gate away. Or not. Oh, there we go. And whenever you're using the gate in the RJ, the stairs, the guardrails have to be put down like this, real world wise. So that's how they are if you have no gate or ramp. But if you have a gate or ramp, then those would be down. We'll close up the passenger door, we'll release the chocks, we'll click up the door page again if I didn't already. Everything's nicely in the green. We'll go back to the stat page, go down here. Fuel pumps can both get turned on. Our steering switch is confirmed to be off. And let's go wait on the clearance now. So we'll get VPilot up and see how many people are on. Denver ground is online. 2185. All right, and we're stand Bravo 42 with information November. So basically, I'm going to tell him, he's probably going to say push at discretion. That's what they always do to me in VATSIM. But he's probably just going to say, I'm just going to say to him, Denver ground. It's Denver, I was about to say Blue Streak. Endeavor 1333, information November, ready to push. Something like that. We'll figure it out. Let me get my notepad out as well. Ronnie, welcome to the stream as well. Hi guys, good to see you again. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed that video earlier for the Sky Dolly. Research says the 700 was always a bit more forgiving than 900. The 700 floats a little in ground effect. You had to fly the 900. Yeah, really do in the 900.
Southwest 4014.
Do you hold or shift? Yeah, we hold shift.
Left on Bravo November.
All right, let's ask them for a push here.
Mike left Bravo November, Southwest 4014.
Ground Endeavor 1333, information November, ready push, stand Bravo 42.
Aircraft calling, say call signing in.
Endeavor 1333, 1333. I think I woke him up a little bit. I'll talk a bit slower.
Endeavor 133 Squawk.
Oh, that's my fault there.
Endeavor 133 Squawk Mode Charlie, please.
Oh, Charlie 1333. Close the door.
Endeavor 1333, thank you. Push straight back. First line call for taxi.
All right, straight back, and we'll call taxi. Endeavor 1333. All right, so let's do the next part of the flow here.
Just want to make sure we're going to the Charlie North.
Beacon transponder's already been turned on. The parking brake will turn on when they tell me to.
Continue on
and let's get the 6.4 for the trim. Seems quite low, but we'll do it at once.
Ground, United 3429, information, Oscar.
I gotta do here this one.
United 3779, Denver ground.
Let me know if guys, if the audio, if that seems too loud. They want it straight pushback. All right, parking brake released. Yeah, I'm gonna start them anyways. Tiger says where to download this panel texture. It's on fs.to, flightsim.to. Just search up CRJ V2 liveries, and it should be a whole list of them. And there's an Endeavor pack. Simple Takeoffs, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. G says, are you going to have to get de-iced? So rear world we would because of the precip below 0. But we're going to say we've done that. Because I can't be bothered to do it in the sim. But just pretend we got de-iced once we taxi out.
Hello, you said Bravo gates?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Turn left on Mike, right on Alpha November.
I could be wrong, but that looks like SkyWest Air. It is. It is. I got all loaded up, and it said SkyWest, but I was like, whatever. I don't care. There's a big Delta flag on it, so we'll call it Delta. Or we'll call it Endeavor. But you are correct, Adam. I spotted it before I started the stream, too. I'm like, whatever. Alright, parking brake set. Let's start up right. She would have had to tell me that, but I'm going to do it anyways. Right engine start. We'll get the clock going. Whoa. That's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Waiting for 20% N2, the ITT below 120, which is never exceeded in the sim, even if you shut it right down. Grab says, hey Ben, back at it again. Yes, we are. Exactly, Flight Sim Gaming. We'll go add our fuel, and I'll bring you by guys in the back so you can hear the BORIS sounds here. Look at me being a streamer.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention, as we will now just...
Alright.
Denver ground, United 2322.
She says, how do you like flying the CRJ in real life? I love it. It's the only airline I've flown to this point, so I'm having a good time. I love how hands-on it has to be. It's it's a forgiving airplane to hand fly, but it's not forgiving in the terms of managing it on RNAV approaches and descending the airplane. So if you're descending the airplane, what kind of wind do you have? Is it going to be icing conditions, non-icing conditions? You have to slow it at an earlier point than 10,000. There's a lot of things that go into our descent planning that the VNAV, if you even have the VNAV feature, won't do for you.
Lufthansa 38 Juliet Heavy with information mic on board.
Fuel on 1.
Start.
In case of a water
Bell. Lufthansa 38 Juliet, Denver ground, hello.
Sky Regional Jazz
It's approved.
Maple was such a cool call sign.
takeoff, please take the time.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. I didn't even know they had that.
Lufthansa 38 Juliet Heavy.
Sad they got rid of it. Yeah, I think they all merged.
Thank you for your attention.
Not really sure what happened with that. Graf says, have you flown in... yeah, you mentioned, I'll read the rest of this. I tried it today and had some weird things about to replicate. So, I just got 24 working, and to me, no matter what settings I do, this airplane flies like awful. I can't get it to run well. Default's too touchy. If I increase the pitch, it's still... Now, granted, I did it for 5 minutes, so I'll probably spend more time with it, but it just feels weird to me in 24. So I am beta testing the current flight model update. I've already gotten a beta test version of that. It's in its infancy stage, so it won't be out. I don't know when it'll be out, but it won't be out soon. But I'm basically just cracking down on what it's going to hopefully feel like, and I don't know. I'm testing on 2020. I don't know if it'll transfer over to 24, but I'm sure it will in the future. Anyways, both engines started. We'll stop our timer there, and we don't need the APU anymore. So let's go ahead and check the electrics real quick. Make sure the engines have transferred over, which they have. DC's all good. Back to the stat page. APU, start, stop, power, fuel, aft cargo, probes on, and wing and cowls on. Wings, cowls, parking brake, APU doors closed. Awesome. Test the rudder out. Might not go full left in the sim because my my settings and I just have dampens on my settings and stuff, but it would have worked. Steering armed, and we'll tell them we're ready to go. Simple says, do I need to buy? No, the BORIS update is free update, version 1.4.1. G says, this may be stupid ask, but do you prefer PF or I assume you mean PM or PF? It depends how tired you are. No, I'm joking. PF is a lot of fun.
Aircraft on frequency. Departure is now Unicom.
No. Let's get taxing here. But PF is a lot of fun. However, what I do recommend is if you've never been to an airport before, especially if it's at nighttime, go PM for that leg to go there once in your life, and then the next time you go there, if you're feeling good about it, go be PF. So going to LaGuardia and doing that stadium visual of the RNAV X, I think it is 31. I've been PM on that 4 times before I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Because you don't, I mean, you can go, straight, let me give it a shot right away. But I recommend being PM for a couple legs to a certain airport that has an interesting approach, especially. That's what I say. But, both are kind of fun in their own way. Obviously, PF is more fun to me. But anyways, let's get going here. Denver ground, Denver 1333, ready taxi. Endeavor ground. That'd be kind of cool sounding, actually.
Aircraft calling Denver ground. Can you squawk mode Charlie, please?
Yeah, it should be already. Yeah, it should be squawking mode C. We'll recycle for you, Endeavor 1333.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I had you. Sorry about that. Yes. Thank you. Endeavor 1333, runway 34 left, taxi via Alpha November, Golf, Whiskey Alpha.
Okay, 34 left, Alpha November, Golf, and Whiskey Alpha, Endeavor 1333. So he's changed our runway on us. That's okay. We can do this very quickly. Departure arrival.
Yeah, Denver ground.
Runway 34 left. We'll execute that. Should have deleted our
United
waypoints there. We'll go
Denver
here.
ground. Hello again.
Darth.
Runway 34 left, taxi via
Legs.
Bravo November,
34
Golf,
left.
Whiskey Alpha.
Bravo November Golf Whiskey Alpha.
Nacta. Kago. Schick. And what we got here? Yami 17. That's all good.
Denver ground Skyless.
Park and break off.
30, we're Gate Bravo 66 for push.
And I'll do the rest as we start going here. He wants Alpha November. Where the heck are we?
Approved. I guess you're going to be facing east to get out of there.
Alpha November to Golf, which is a left-hand turn.
Go 5730.
Clear right, clear left. We'd also have to get a new ACAR's V speeds, which ACAR doesn't work, but we'd also have to update our V speeds. We'd also have to update our level off height, which might have changed, which I don't have access to that information in the sim. And we'd also have to update and rebrief our departure / our engine out procedure as well.
United calling
Also would have to reset the HCP, which I didn't even do because it doesn't work in the sim, but we'd have to reset that for the new runway.
You should see it now, United 22.
And my carrier, we have a change of runway or SID checklist, which is kind of nice actually. So you can do all that, and then you can refer to the checklist if you like. You don't need to use it, but it is nice to use it if you need it.
Pushes a boost straight back, call for
So basically, he wants us Alpha November, which means I have to transfer over here to the Alpha November line. Then he wanted Golf. And then Whiskey Alpha. Now we can also use this chart system here, by the way, guys. If I zoom on in, see Alpha November is all the way over there. So we're gonna go past this line. Kind of weird that they gave me Alpha November. I'm just cutting across the whole ramp. That's fine. I don't mind it. Side note, Flight Sim Gaming says, side note, big shout out to you for doing all this work to make this plane relevant again. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I like to use it for when I use it for my initial training. So, and I want this to, I know it won't, but I want this to get to like a Phoenix level, and I'd love that. I don't think we'll get there. Maybe I can convince Hans, but that'll take a lot of work. I appreciate that, Flight Sim Gaming, as well. By the way, if you guys don't know Flight Sim Gaming, go watch his channel as well. Same with Simple Takeoffs. They're both streamers and great friends at Real World as well. Grab says, wasn't the handling, it was the top of descent wasn't showing and was different in VS mode as versus speed mode. Talking notes on this flight. Sorry, I don't actually know what you mean by that one. But let me get on Golf here and I'll read that a bit closer. So we're gonna go straight, not this turn. The next turn is Golf. I love this moving map. This is probably one of the best moving maps in an EFB I've seen. G says, what do you think about single pilot ops? In the sim, I don't mind because it's in the sim, but real world, it's a lot of work. Especially if you have any MELs, something that's broken on the airplane, / if you have to MEL something. So if something breaks mid-flight, and the pilot flying is in charge of flying, right? And the pilot monitoring has to, usually the captain, is going to MEL the item. So ACAR's to maintenance, get a logbook number, put it in the logbook, write it all out. So there's a bunch of stuff that's not shown in Flight Sim that a second pilot is so much a help for, alongside the rest of it, right? ATC calls and everything else. So single pilot in the sim, it's a lot of work, but it's fun and it keeps you on your toes. But single pilot real world, I wouldn't really want to do that. What was I going to do? Yeah, let's do our before takeoffs. Look at our flaps to 8, manual crossflow to auto, or auto crossflow to manual, other way around. Let's not shoot past Whiskey Alpha either, so we'll go full left, full right, full down, full up. Go on the stat page, we're using rated thrust, so full thrust. Where we are here, Whiskey Alpha is going to be the next right-hand turn. We're clear left, we're clear right. And we got the MAN-X flow status message there. I just realized this is like covering your whole view maybe. And I missed my turn as I'm talking to you guys there. There's Whiskey Alpha. Good thing about the RJ, it's a sports car. You can just turn it. It'll go. And we're taxiing all the way up Whiskey Alpha. Tax light should have been on, so watch this, guys. I can do this with my PU Air Korea overhead panel. If you haven't seen the video on that, go check that out. I just made a video on that today. A little overhead panel, so I can click my little taxi switch. Over to CTAF, Endeavor 1333. Thanks for the service tonight. Taxi light. Boom. On. Isn't that cool? Got off the line severely. But I thought it was pretty cool. And so if you don't know what I'm talking about, the PU Air Korea left the link for it in the description if you would like to go check it out for yourself. It's a little mini overhead panel that you can use. BTAF, KDEN.
5730, taxi
24.3.
via Kilo Alpha November Golf.
The reason I chose this flight was because there was the approach on line and center and all that. Gotta change our heading indicator now as well. Which is most likely 353, but it doesn't always align with that white needle course value. Which is 353. Perfect. So our heading indicator is set to as well. That's where that checklist would come in handy to change the runway or SID. Simple says, does the FMS in the V2 build the waypoints correctly if you... Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That was a big change. I like that one. Not a lot of people know about that change. There's so many things in this that not a lot of people know about. The change log obviously spells it out for you, but there's so many little things like that. I love that that's different from the V2. Gramp says, referencing my earlier comment about replicating stuff I saw in 24 versus 23. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for it for sure. Anthony, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good night. This is 3-4 left here, and I'm going to start slowing on down. We can't really see to the left, and we can't really see to the right. So I guess I'll just use VATSIM radar here and kind of tell myself if there's anybody coming. I think we're all in the clear here. Denver traffic Delta correction Endeavor 1333. Landing up runway 34 left, North 1 departure. Alright, let's try this. So I'm going to use my mini overhead panel by PU Korea. Line the light on, actually, because we've been cleared for takeoff. There's no one to clear us. Strobe light on. That's pretty sweet. The messages are observed. We can go ahead and box the stat messages there. Oop, just once. There we go. 3-4 left is verified and confirmed out the window. We're on the center line of the runway now, so we can go ahead and click the toga button once we get on the center here. TO. And we're all ready to go. Let's make that guy on the legs page. Okay, whatever. He should be on legs there. I don't know how he gets those sounds. And this sound, that nose gear accelerating sound on the groove runway, that sounds real. That's a very good sound. I just noticed my V-speed is reset. So we're going to do this from memory here of where that button is. There we go. It's a long runway, a very high density airport, so we're not going to try to over rotate. Just going to get this nose up and let it carry itself out in the air. There's V1, rotate. And so let the airplane fly. Keep pulling, 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 keep pulling. Gear up. Speed mode. Climb 158, nav mode. Heading FMS2 armed. I'll zoom in so you guys can see this. FMS2 is captured. Gonna wait till we're above 600 feet. Alright, we are. Engaged autopilot. There's our acceleration height, so I'm gonna scroll to climb. About 206 was the VT, somewhere around there. We'll do 210, somewhere in the bucket. Airplane's gonna pitch nose down, which means we're gonna accelerate. We're waiting for V2 plus 12 knots, and we can go to flap 1. Alright, flap 1. Those are going to be changing how fast those move as well, guys, by the way. Those move way too quickly. And we're looking for VT. Let's go bug that a little bit better there. VT minus 15. Flap 0. And the flaps are up and out. We can go climb thrust. And we'll go climb 250. Alright, and we're just punched through the clouds there. There's no ice light just yet, but we're going to keep the wing anti-ice on till 230. Oh, let me use my panel here. Okay, I'm gonna do this out of memory. Landing light can go off, and the auto crossflow or manual crossflow can go to auto again. Don't know why my throttles are desync, and reversers can get turned off. So we're above 230 knots, so the wing anti-ice can be turned off. Unless we get a caution for an ice light. If we get a caution ice light, we gotta turn it back on.
And Denver traffic, for 09, departing runway 34 left, reason start 1 departure.
Adam says, what do you typical leg length look like in the CRJ before it starts to get uncomfortable? I rode on one during COVID from Chicago to Vancouver, which, oh, that's a long one. Yeah, that's a long flight. After, in the flight deck, after an hour and 40, I start to really want to stretch. So that's just me. The longest I've ever done sitting in the flight deck was we went somewhere and we were tailwind limited and we couldn't get in with the rest of the approaches because we didn't have LPV, so we were ILS only, and the rest of the runways we couldn't use. So we got to 1,000 feet, had to go around, do the tailwind. There's 10,000 feet. We'll get the lights out. Do my little panel here, my little overhead panel. That's pretty cool. Pressurization is checked. The belts will stay on, and we're good to go. Anyways. We can accelerate to 280. There we go. Actually, we're going to do vertical speed 1500 for this, so we can keep an acceleration going and a climb at the same time. What was I saying? Yeah, we had to go around on short final there, and the way the flight plan was built, they wanted to divert back home to the origin airport, so we flew all the way to the destination, flew all the way back to the origin, and made it back. That was what our alternate was, is back in the origin. And yeah, so that was about plus sitting at the ramp and waiting for a gate when we got there. It was about 3.5 hours of sitting in the airplane without moving, without getting up. That wanted to stretch. There's 280 knots. I'm gonna go vertical speed, start getting the nose up a little bit, and speed mode 280, right on the dot. Ronnie says, I'm using Stream Decks for the Switch, is very handy. Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Denver traffic.
Stream Decks for the win. Anthony says, is there a way to zoom on or in and out on the map? The map right on here. These zoom keys at the top right. If you're talking about the navigation screen over here, it's this switch over here. Let me turn these lights off. The inner knob, the thin knob, will zoom in and out. Maybe it says, so you only need the taxi light under 10,000. Every operator is different. But for us, yeah. After passing Excel height, do you bug VT plus 10 or anywhere VT to 210-ish? Usually VT plus 10, somewhere in there. VT to VT plus 10 is more than fine, yeah. Alt cap, we're not being controlled. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna buck a higher altitude, press speed mode right away, go climb 280, and then we'll go set this where we're actually going, which I believe was 30 something. 34. Notice I pressed climb 280. This is actually a bug. The airplane should start. I've been climb 280 for a while. I dialed it up, pressed climb 280, and then redialed it. It's not even doing anything about that. Let's start getting some vertical speed in there. So yeah, from an alt cap, it didn't like that. The airplane should have recognized I went back into climb 280 mode from the alt cap, and it should have been doing something about that speed. We're gonna get it back manually though. We'll do vertical speed 4,000, which yes, I've seen 4,800 a minute in a climb in this thing before. We were actually climbing so fast, the pressurization couldn't even keep up. We had to level off for the pressurization in real life. 2992, 2992, 2992 transition. Question: is there a secret to installing the sound pack? Does the installer need to go? Just go to community folder. That's it. That should work just with that. Go about 4,300 a minute. G says, hey, I feel like after flying a lot, it would get pretty boring doing same flights, especially on 4 to 5. Yeah, depends what company you're with and what routes you do, but definitely different airplanes, like different fleet types will have different routes, and there's definitely better and worse. My airplane or my company, the Embraer, has the same routes usually. All right, I'm going to lessen my vertical speed. I'm going to click climb, or the speed button, which is climb, and we're going to say 280. And let's see if it does it. Doesn't look like it so far. I think I broke it, guys, by clicking speed mode through Alt's cap there. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 300. The autopilot is obviously still on. I've selected 300 as my new climb speed, so it should start to nose up for 300 knots once I get kind of roughly there. Nothing happening. There we go, a little bit. A little bit. Alright, let's do this, guys. We're going to go autopilot off. We're going to manually pitch up. I'm going to turn off the flight directors. I'm going to get to 280 knots. I'm going to press my sync button, and I'm going to click nav and autopilot. We're going to try that. I actually haven't seen this bug in a while. I reported this one a long time ago, and I thought that got patched out. Alright, sync. I'll make sure you actually go heading mode. And speed mode.
Super Jules airborne off runway 08.
Yeah, look at those flight directors, eh? They're not even...
departure.
It works when I hold sync, but it doesn't work when I let go of it there. We'll go nav mode on that. That's starting to work a little bit better. Alright, let's go engage autopilot. 280 on the speed, so it should nose down a little bit to get it fast again. I don't know... Yeah, it's starting to work back again. Now it's going for 280. So it didn't like, by the way, guys, if you run into this bug, it didn't like me going from... This is a real-life trick we do. If it Alt's cap, we want to keep going up. Spin this a bunch. Just go whack and just spin it up to a random number real quick. This is technique, not SOP. I should have mentioned that. Click the speed button to get it back into climb mode, and then you can set up your altitude for where you're supposed to be at. But anyways, I don't know why they do this. I'm a ramper. Had a flight go all the way to, you know what, standby. I'm going to go to, I know I read your comment like a million times. I got to go to Unicom. I can't take this anymore.
Aircraft are...
Alright. Had a flight go all the way to Moncton, couldn't get in, and whatever back to Pearson. Yeah, that's most likely because the company wants the airplane back at its origin, because the next flight that has to go out is starting from Toronto. And it's a maintenance base as well. And the crew might live in Toronto, so they'd have to pay hotels. It's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. Flight sim says landing lights generally in poor conditions for company, right? So landing lights for in IFR conditions and nighttime, all three go on. And I think I only put the center on because I have the my new panel I got from PU Korea. I've only mapped the center one. I can't do anything else because I don't have. I gotta try to map those to something else. But and then if it's day VFR, when clear to land or clear takeoff, just the center. So nighttime or IFR. And then day VFR. That's a lot of dirt. That's a lot of dirt on those monitors. We actually have cleaning kits in here that would clean. We can clean them ourselves. But let me go back and say, if you guys have that problem that I have where it wasn't pitching for the right speed, disengage the autopilot, turn both flight directors off, and then click nav and speed and see if it'll re-engage for you. Then engage the autopilot again. Ronnie says, do you keep climb on thrust levers all the way to cruise? Yep. Keep it in the climb detent, and as the airplane gets higher, it's going to change its climb thrust setting automatically for you. It's not an auto throttle. It's not going to maintain a speed for you with thrust, but I'm having the maximum climb performance thrust, and it's maintaining speed with pitch. So it has all the power in the world, and if it starts to sense it can't accelerate or keep the speed, it's going to nose down. So that's kind of how that works. And it's a FADEC. You can look up FADEC online, F-A-D-E-C. It stands for Full Authority. I always forget. Full Authority, something engine control. Probably direct engine control or drive. basically it's very smart computers that are constantly calculating these values, keeping the engines, because these are two separate engines. You got to remember, guys, these are two separate entity engines which will have different fuel flows and different oil temperature. These are all the same. These would be different in real life. So in the 200 you might have to fly like this, and that would match your N1s. But with the FADEC system on the 900, you just put these both in the climb detent and it auto sets both engines together, and that's why we have this engine sync here, and we're syncing the N1s together. So look up FADEC. Quite interesting stuff. And this is going to be doing OKC to Charlotte. I don't know where OKC is. Oakland tomorrow. Flew non-rev on the route last week on 900, and honestly it wasn't too bad. Okay, yeah, hope you enjoy that. I was in Wichita the other day, which is a new one for me. We were ferrying an airplane home. Shaq says sync. What is that? So I have a whole video on it, actually, if you want to go look up the flight director sync video I got. Basically what it does, there's a button right here on the yoke. That's part of the texture mod, by the way. But that button is flight director sync, and basically what I can do with it is let's say if I want to hand fly and I want to set climb 280. Well, if you're hand flying, most SOPs, depending on your company, you can obviously fly the airplane with your right hand here, your left hand here, and some companies will dictate what you can touch up the autopilot panel, and most companies don't let you spin any knobs or stuff while you're hand flying. So instead of going up here to set 280, I can get to 280 on my speed and click sync, and this purple bug will match to my speed, and it'll change from whatever it was at, climb 190 or whatever, to climb 280. But I have a whole video on it. So feel free to go check that out there. Let's turn these cowls off now. I don't know what they've been talking this whole time with that little bug that happened. We're below -40. Digital, yeah, there you go, Adam. So it's full authority digital engine control, if my memory serves. But I always forget that one. It's not an acronym I use all the time. Got 44 of you guys in the chat right now. I really appreciate that. Sorry, I'm choking on my water here. Really appreciate that though. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. Let's bring up these brightnesses of these screens. There we go. See that now. Tony says, isn't there a click spot for the flight director sync? There is. I believe it's either this one or this one. One of them's toga and one of them's sync. There's 34,000 feet. And we're cruising at 7.4. So once that says Alt's cap, I'm going to move this 7.7 down to 7.4. And we'll probably reduce our thrust from the climb detent probably to like right there. And that'll be about 1,800 pounds a side, something like that. And we'll go from there. Blade says, what is half bank? Half bank just appeared through 31.6, and basically what it does is it limits how much it can bank. So below 31,600, there's Alt's cap. We'll set 7.4. Reduce our thrust to, first we'll go to the screw and then we'll come back up. Anyways, half bank will limit how much bank you can do. So it's 15 degrees, I believe, from memory. It'll do maximum in a bank instead of the full 30. Top is toga. Yeah, you got climb, toga, max power. So max power will give you APR thrust if both. So APR is automatic power reserve. So let's say you're in the toga detent for takeoff. You lose an engine. Because you've lost an engine, APR will activate, automatic power reserve. Gives you an extra 2% on the operating engine or 500 pounds of thrust. Let's say both engines are working and you need maximum available thrust, like a ground collision is imminent type of thing. You'd have to go into max power, and that'll give you the maximum thrust possible the engines can put out. To actually get into max power in real world, it takes 40 pounds of pressure to get into that setting. The rest of these are about 10 to 15 pounds, or if I had to estimate, I don't really know the poundage, but for max power it's 40 pounds to get into that. So I've never seen that used other than the sim sessions we do. It's only if ground collision is imminent. And so usually for our ground collision avoidance training, we're in the toga, and only if we need max power is when we use that. We try not to use it, as it may cause some engine damage if it's prolonged usage of it. But toga thrust will be more than enough. an extra 1,000 pounds of thrust if you need it on both engines, 500 each engine. I've actually seen it. I've actually seen it done. It doesn't really add too much to your performance. Simple says, "Are you still allowed to use the sync if hand flying at takeoff is IMC?" Yep. Since you have to ignore the pitch on FD below before. Yep. Yeah, you can. For sure, because you can actually hold the sync button. You don't have to just press it. You can hold the sync button, and it's going to be constantly syncing with you if you want to. But you can fly IMC without a flight director, right? You don't need a flight director to fly IMC. Derby says, you keep using the term Alt's cap. What does that mean? So that happens whenever the airplane is going to capture an altitude or level off at an altitude. A message in green will come up here saying Alt's cap, and I'm literally just repeating that Alt's cap because that's a mental note to you and the other crew member that you're leveling off. Whoever's pilot flying puts their hands here, and if you're leveling off from a descent, you're going to add thrust, and if you're leveling off from a climb, you're going to reduce thrust. So you just like to verbalize Alt's cap. It means the airplane, one, is doing what it's doing. It's Alt's capping, hopefully at the correct altitude. You check what it's going to Alt's cap at. And two, you're going to reduce and or increase your thrust to hold the speed for it. Aviation Police says, so it's automatic too? Yes, yeah, so through 31,600 feet, you'll get climb 7.7 if you're still climbing, and half bank, all automatic through 31,600. Gamer says, yo, how's it going? Welcome to welcome. Been able to get past the FMS setup in the new CRJ V2 due to WASM crashes. I haven't had any of those recently. What I recommend doing if you're having that is go to your options, set your sim pilot ID and your navigraph, set it all up to date, and then press save settings down there. Once you've done it, restart your computer. I haven't had any, so that's how I did it. Gamer says the aircraft systems keep freezing, which is unfortunate because this update does look really good. Yeah, I haven't had any of that, to be honest with you, and I haven't really had too many. I had it initially in the beta, but I haven't had it since. But hopefully that helps you. Tony says, sorry, I meant top click spot is Toga. Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, so the top one here is Toga, and the bottom one is the flight director sync. So it's right there for you if you want it, but I just map it to where it roughly is in the real airplane. Alright, let's go see how long we got till we go here. 36 minutes. We should start descent planning. So let's do some weather weights plates. Refresh the weather. 3405, it's VFR. It's a little cold, whatever. 2991. We'll do a fuel check as well. I kind of missed that, didn't I? Progress page. We passed Darth at 79, basically 8,000 pounds. We were supposed to cross Darth at, let me go to this flight plan here. Darth. A lot of scrolling. Supposed to pass it at 7,800. We passed it at 8,000, so we're 200 above planned, and we're 1,000 above minimum fuel. The RVSM is checked, so we're going to put in 2991 in there. It's 340. What do they got? 19 runway 1. We're going to use runway 1 in that case. So we've gotten the weather. We know what runway we're going to use. Let's go ahead and get our performance data inputted. So we're 66,000 pounds. I'm going to re-input this fuel. Okay, that didn't work. Night 1,000. Now, you're actually not supposed to do this in real life because the fuel kind of sloshes around. That number might not be completely accurate. But if I don't do that, it doesn't update this. So we're currently at 74,000 pounds. And we're 66 on the zero fuel weight. If I go ahead and see our planned arrival is 56, that number should appear here. I should be able to get a planned arrival fuel. It doesn't work until I put in a arrival or approach, which is not correct. It should give me one regardless. I'm going to do what I do real world so I don't mess up. But I should be able to find that here, but I have to use the flight plan, which is all predictive. So they're predicting us to be there with 5,600 pounds of gas. And we'll do 5,600 pounds of landing fuel plus our zero fuel weight. So 5,600 plus 66,000 is, I didn't do that right. Is a 71,600 pound landing, well within the landing weight. The landing weight is 75,100 pounds. So performance, takeoff and landing. Landing is 71.6. We'll go type in here, we're going to KJAC. runway 1, we're Forester Metar. VRF of VRF, no additives for the speeds because we have no gusts, so we don't have to add any +5. Don't do any of that stuff in the CRJ unless you have wind. Short runway landing 4,000 feet, and we have an extra basically 20. I rounded it up, but we had an extra 2,300 feet, probably 2,700 feet on top of that. That's good. Performance page, return. I find these speeds are always wrong. This is setting our current weight speed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press set all, and I'm going to estimate a little bit of thrust for our cruise there. We're going to change this to our V speed setting here. We're going to select. Now we're on V2. Our V2 ground of 152. So I don't know. Our V2 on takeoff was 154. We've lost about 4,000 pounds, and it's only a 2-knot difference. I don't know. I think it'd be closer to 149, something like that. But we'll leave it there. And then our VT speed of 230 is absolutely nuts. That's definitely not true. We're gonna set this. It's almost like it gets affected by the altitude because that VT even on the takeoff has changed from what it was earlier. Maybe about in the 190s or so at 71,000 pounds, something like that. And now the approach. So let's get this guy open. And we'll go to KJAC, approach, and RNAV 1, can't do RMP, can't do RMP VOR. So we'll do the RNAV X-ray into runway 1. We'll pin this chart, bring this over here. Departure arrival. Arrival in the KJAC is going to be the RNAV 1. And let's see. Can't use that one. Let's see, we're flying north. Basically a straight in will be more than fine. Legs page on that. We'll connect it because there's no one here. Just make sure all these altitudes are looking good. We got Homa at 11.7. At Valku at 11 above. DKEV at 10.4. Zugon at 95. I can't pronounce that, but it's there at 8180 above. Zugon is, I'll make that hard so I have something to focus on. We don't have an LPV, so I can change this. An LPV approach, we don't change any of the altitudes, but in an LNAV only approach, I can change these. Runway 01, a ref, they claim 144. That's way too fast. I'm going to do 136. And a missed approach is, let's see here, 14,000 feet, direct Quirt. Track 088. That's all there. And then DNW VOR and hold, continue climb in the hold to 14 if we didn't make it there already. So we're going to be holding because it's so high up there, 215 knots, 14,000. We'll execute that. I'll give you guys an approach brief shortly here. We set up our HCP, but we don't need that because it doesn't work in the sim. And we set our MDA, which an LP LNAV is 7540 plus the 50 feet for being non-precision is 7590, and it's a cold weather. It is cold. Let's see if it requires cold weather corrections. BRV not authorized. Cold temperature and altitude required at or below -22. So we're -2. We technically don't need the cold weather temp comp that. So we're good. It's yeah, 7590. Good thing we're already in the 60s here. 7590. Now in real life, this doesn't go up by 1. This MDA, it all goes up by 10. But that has been reported in the bug beta build as well. So we got a descent in 39 minutes. That doesn't seem... Actually, it does seem right. Wait a minute. Yeah, that just changed with our approach inputted, so that's okay. And alright. We're still chugging along. I'm probably gonna get a drink of water, and I'll head to the bathroom. Let me catch up with the chat real quick, and then I'll go. Oh, I guess I'm already caught up. So, yeah, be sure to hit that like button, guys, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, I am back. Johnson says the OFP you show directly from SimBrief or somewhere else. I'm seeing things on yours I can't find. So I'm using SimBrief, however, I'm using the Jazz OFP, the JZA OFP, because it has a very good CRJ layout from SimBrief. And you can change that while you're making the flight plan. You can change it down below in the OFP layout. And it says, give us a cabin announcement. Folks from the flight deck for shop speaking will be descending into Jackson Hole in approximately 30 minutes. Have you at the gate in about an hour from this current time. The weather is clear skies. It's a temperature of 0 degrees, which is about 30 Fahrenheit. Thank you for flying Endeavor on behalf of the Denver-based crew, and we'll see you on the next time. Thank you very much for choosing Endeavor. There you go. Tony says, what SimBrief OFP format do you use? I generally use, so that's Jazz, JZA. JZA. Yeah, really good format for the RJ in the sim. Couldn't really find any other ones. I think they might have Endeavor, but I don't know. Yeah. You do it a couple times, you get used to it. 10-10, thanks. Appreciate it. It's pretty simple. You just start off with folks from the flight deck, who you're talking, who is it talking, what you're doing, how long it's going to take, what's the weather when you get there, and then thanks for flying on behalf on the wherever you're based crew. You could obviously mix it up a bit, but it's a pretty nice standard layout. Oh yeah, I was going to brief you guys, so I'll give you guys a brief. This is an RNAV approach, which is an LNAV only minimums for the CRJ, because we do not have the VNAV functionality in this RJ. And even if you are flying with the VNAV in the sim, it doesn't have LPV capability just yet, so I wouldn't use LPV minimums. Anyways, this could be an SCDA approach, which is a constant descent angle approach. So once we get to Zugen, we're going to start down at a constant descent angle, and it's a 3-degree slope. What I'm going to do, since it's visual anyways, is I'm going to go tell Hama I want 3. So this is a little known, not well-known trick. So Hama, I'm going to put 3.0. Actually, I'll put it past Hama. And it should do it for the rest of them. Don't think it did. I'm just going to do it for all. I just did that earlier, 3.0. And hopefully I can just do a constant descent all the way down. We can change it up as we go. I'll execute that. Anyways, it's a visual landing backed up by the RNAV-X into runway 1. Approach to 006. The Zugen is the glide path check at 9,500. The MDA of 7590 set right with the LNAV minimum. MSA high sector, the only sector is 14,900 based out of runway 1. The missed approach is 14,000 feet direct QWERT, and the track is 088 to DNW VOR and hold. Continue in the hold to 14,000 if we didn't reach it already. In the event of a missed approach, either one can call ground, including the ATC, and I'll go toga button, toga thrust, flap 8, gear up, speed mode, nav mode. Engage autopilot at 600 feet, retract the flaps around 7,500 feet, climb thrust after takeoff checks. And 3-degree slope, PAPI's on the left, MALS type lighting. We're going to plan to exit here. Runway 1, it's a short approach. We're going to probably use either Alpha 3 or all the way to the end Alpha 4. On this approach, the threat obviously being terrain left and right of the runway, and also the short runway of 6,300 feet. So we're going to obviously try to make it more firm than smooth. I'd rather have a firm in touchdown zone, get the braking started, get the reverse going, rather than floating it, getting a grease ball, right, and then ending up in the snow. So that's going to be the threat. We'll mitigate that with touchdown zone, and we'll be on the speeds and all the marks for that. Fuel wise, we're planning to land with 60. I don't trust that. We're probably going to be closer. Well, maybe it's right, but maybe the SimBrief data is wrong actually. We'll say we're landing with 6,000 pounds, which leaves us with an extra 1,200 pounds of extra fuel. Did I do that math right? 47, 6,000, 1,300 pounds of extra fuel. So if we have to go missed, if there's no one around, we can just kind of do a visual circuit and come back. But as soon as we hit 4,700 pounds in the fuel, we're going to the alternate. Let's see the thing here. Ronnie says, do you calculate top and descent yourself or trust the CRJ to do it for you? The advisory top and descent is quite good. So we can just rely on that, really. It's really, really good, actually. You can do the whole altitude, you know, divide by 3 or times 3 thing if you want. But this works out quite well. Like if I did a generic calculation, keep in mind this is for a 4-degree descent, not a 3-degree descent. So I'll do 34 times, sorry here. It's going to start at roughly 120 or so miles back, and the feet per minute required, all you have to do is ground speed, cut it in half, add a 0, be 2,000, but about 2,200 feet per minute. That's kind of rough numbers, but this guy, the advisor VDAV, does a pretty good job. Get the impression you're a fellow Toronto native. I don't know how you get that impression. Anthony says, what's your least favorite airport as an aviation professional? Mine's Chicago O'Hare. You know, I've actually only been a passenger to Chicago O'Hare. I've deadheaded there. I've never actually been pilot flying or monitoring, or, you know, in the flight deck at Chicago. It looked like insane chaos. It used to be LaGuardia, because LaGuardia, for my company, had a didn't have the gate assignments. You had to call, like, you'd exit the runway, you get a taxi clearance as you're doing the after landings. Then you'd have to call ground to get the rest of it. Then you have to call ramp while you're talking to ground. It's all this mess. So it used to be that, but that got better. Whatever. I'll still say LaGuardia. It's just a controlled mess. I don't really have a worst. I kind of like them all, but apparently GSX-5 works too for knowing the descent rate. GS ground speed times 5. Yeah, you can do that too. Let's try it. I've never done that method. 430 times 5, 2150. Yeah, I got the same number. You can do that too. It's just easier in my brain to take that, cut it in half, and add a 0. I can kind of do that more in my brain, especially on final, because on final you're landing around 140ish or so. So 140, that's basically 14. So cut 14 in half is 7. You know, you can add the zeros back. 700 a minute. Well, hopefully your ground speed's not 10 there, Phil. You're having a bad day. And we can take a look at this approach. I might go direct, actually. You know what? I'm going to save myself a little bit of time. Go direct Havma. Why not? FMS2's captured. Don't think there's anybody online still, unfortunately. We're going to end the flight and the stream in Jackson Hole as well. Because I have to, I'm forced to play Fortnite with my girlfriend tonight, so it's already really late. Holy, it's 11:30. But if you guys already haven't done it, go check out the new video I launched out today on the PU Air Korea minimized overhead panel. It's retailing for about 100 US. And if you like overhead panels or kind of been wanting to see what options are out there, it might be the panel for you. Doesn't take up a lot of space. And you can map it to whatever you like, all the switches to whatever you like, as long as you have the multi-flight. So I got some good news for you guys. I just received a message from the flight modeler with the RJ. He's making great progress with the points that I gave him. Because I was getting, in the new beta, I was getting about 5,000 a minute, passing 28,000. So there was an engine thrust problem there. But there's some good stuff coming along hopefully soon our way here. I hope it won't be too long. There's a lot of progress. There's a lot of fast progress happening. But yeah, I'll keep advising on what I think the airplane feels like from my world experience and how that would translate into the sim well. That's kind of all I can really do, really. It says I'm a scheduler, so when we have issue in Chicago, it's a nightmare. Yeah, I'm sure it is. If we do have standby crews available, because then we won't, then we don't have a plane. Yeah, I'm sure that's a nightmare. A scheduler, as soon as you get hired to any company, doesn't have to be aviation, but scheduling department is always like, no one likes them. Slash, everyone's always wanted the best schedule, that kind of thing, and the scheduling department has a really hard job because they got to keep the company happy, and they got to keep the in this case the pilots or whoever they have to schedule for happy, and you'll never win. So I try to be as nice as possible all the time as well. Never really had any bad encounters. Are the airplanes doing it? I don't want to follow LNAV track. That. And Alt. And LNAV. And autopilot. There we go. Shax says, C5, do you prefer flying East Coast or West Coast? The West Coast is really nice. It's a lot more laid back. Yeah, people are just generally more chill, and the scenery is beautiful, so probably the West Coast. Ollie says, any news about when the CRJ is coming to Marketplace? No idea. You know what, not even the developer knows, because it's all up to Microsoft. It really has no control over that, unfortunately. And says, I've been yelled at a time or two. Yeah, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have. You gotta keep in mind, when something happens to your schedule or your day or whatever, it's already happened, and more likely that the scheduler's not doing that obviously on purpose. It's just what it is. That's what you signed up for. You want to fly planes? That's how aviation works. A lot of it is sitting and waiting. A lot of it is away from home. A lot of it is away from home on your day off that you're supposed to be home. So it's not just about the flying. I'm telling you guys, the flying, it's awesome and it's really cool. But once you sit up here for 2.5 hours, you want to get off the plane, right? So it does wear out a little bit, and I still love it. And I mean, I'm flight simming at home, right? I'm doing my own work here at home, so I still love it. But work is work as well. But I try to just appreciate that I get to do it, and I don't complain to the schedulers. Simple says, did you enjoy some of that t-shirt weather today? Yeah, that was awesome. I got like what, 16-20 degrees. I'll take it. I got to bust out my my summer collection of fragrances. I'm a big fragrance guy. I don't know why, I just love them. Just like the science that goes into it and the kind of the artistry that goes behind it. So I have winter and spring and all that kind of stuff. So I got to bust up my summer ones this time, which is fun for me. So what's concerning is this isn't changing anymore, which is pretty consistent with the bug. No, that's correct. Okay, it's still being okay. And it says, and I'm one of who gets to ask about 2-hour flight duty expenses extensions. So that's fun. Yeah, deny. Vice says 20 degrees today, but I still have a small patch of snow on my front lawn. So disappointed it didn't melt. You gotta go out there with the air dryer or blow dryer and just get rid of it. Or it says, can you please show the fix function, draw a circle with a range? Yeah, so let's say, what was the old waypoints? I forgot that doesn't work. I should be able to go to direct intercept previous page and it would show me waypoints we passed or in that flight plan earlier. But what I can do is secondary flight plan. Flight plan, secondary flight plan, secondary legs. Next page. This should be blue, by the way. It should pop a blue line. It shouldn't stay white. That's a bug as well. DNW. So DNW fix page. It's off over there. And then if I wanted a 20-mile ring or whatever, there it is. Or 200 or... Oh, that's not right. Clear that. There we go. I can't even draw it. Let's try 55. There you go. That's how you do that. The radial function doesn't work all that well. Like if I wanted radial 3331 about 020 or so, I can't do it. I don't know why it says no intersection. I don't want to intersect it. I just want you to draw a line. So there's stuff like that where it doesn't quite work. And then what we would do is this a beam function. It doesn't work in the sim, but like I want DNF. Let's say because DNF was over there, which it kind of went away, or DNW I should say. Let me do it over here. That spoilers annoying me. DNW. So it's over there, and if I wanted to check this waypoint at my fuel, I can make it a beam point. So it would draw this fix, but over on my current route of flight. So I'd press a beam, right? It not real. It should be here, right? But then I should be able to copy the new coordinates, legs page, put it in here. It got close, but that should be right on my route of flight. And that's how we can check fuel if we've been given a direct. A big shortcut, we can check our fuel at different waypoints that we don't have in our flight plan anymore doing that. No worries, Ron. Hope you enjoyed that one. Anthony says, I don't care if they deny, I just strongly prefer if they do. Don't care if they deny, I just strongly prefer of they do. It's in a crew base. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, from our perspective and a pilot perspective, we're going to start going down here shortly. But if you accept that and something were to happen, it doesn't look as good on a report. You know what I mean? So vertical speed, 3,000 feet per minute. Idle thrust, and I've talked about this. Idle thrust should maintain us at 7.4-ish. At 3,000 feet per minute. I shouldn't be constantly decelerating like this, so the drag is going to be reduced in the new flight model. It should be very hard to slow this airplane down. Like, very hard to slow it down. I'm still slowing down. And then through the transition, in real life, I'm keeping idle the whole way. We'd be basically here right now in real life. We'd be going up. So I have to actually add thrust, which you never have to do that, and that's the whole point of a 3,000 feet per minute descent. Simple says, if after takeoff ATC gives you a VOR radial to follow, for example, outbound, how do you fly with their autopilot? So you can just go on Green Needle, have the VOR plugged in, and you can have it fly with nav will track the radial in VOR mode, or you can program the VOR with a radial. The radial outbound. It won't work in the sim. You can have the FMS flight if you wanted to as well. But Green Needle's probably easier. Just fly it with green. So you can see our current top of descent requires 2,400 a minute, and I'm doing 3,000 a minute, and this is going to keep decreasing, and I want this number to keep decreasing because as I get closer to 10,000, I have to start slowing down. So basically, I started at the top of descent a bit shy, a bit early, and steeper, and that way I'm going to be lower earlier, and then it'll allow me to slow down, if that makes sense. And we're going to set 11.7 for now as the bottom. It is visual, so I could probably go all the way low, but we'll keep it like it's IFR. So 290 on this, and again, I shouldn't require thrust, but I do in the sim, so we'll throw these guys up there. Captain Shark, welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're enjoying today. Everybody say happy hello to Captain Shark as well, and leave a like if you like the stream, and go leave a like on the new video as well, and share it with your friends. But the PU Air Korea minimized overhead panel, brand new video came out today on that guy. Simple says, yeah, I was wondering how it would work if I want to put it in the FMS to have fly away instead of green needle. Yeah, to fly at a specific radial, like the Airbus, I know you can do like DNW / like 283 or whatever the radial is, right? I've tried that in the real RJ, it didn't work, and I've looked up in my FMS handbook of different formats and stuff. I couldn't find anything about making your own waypoint like that, so I would recommend just flying it on green, or you can have a fixed page up and do it through there too, with a radial crossing there. It looks like you can do it here though. Course, distance, oh, never mind. That's gonna disregard that. Once I put a function here, it'll give you the information about that fix. Anthony says, "I'm curious if you can't answer. I understand. If you call out fatigue, can your company still deadhead you to do an overnight, or are you done where you are?" That's a good question. I've never needed to do that. I believe if you're fatigued, you can basically say you can basically say I'm staying in my hotel, like book me another night, and they can't say anything about that. But if you want to get deadheaded, I believe you can. I believe it's up to your choice, but this changes company to company, and I haven't had to do this, so I don't know, to be honest with you. Sorry about that. Cap says, did it come out on Marketplace? No, it didn't come out on Marketplace just yet. We're waiting on Microsoft to update the Marketplace. It's completely out of Hans and Aerosoft's hands at that point. All right. Transition to 2991, and we're just going to make sure that we have the up-to-date weather. 91, 91, 91, and the center was done already. I'm gonna get my I've never took the belts off. People have been in their seat this entire time. Oh well. There you go. Alice is gonna head out. I didn't even hear Alice. Well, thank you for stopping in, and everyone go check out Alice if you don't know him already. You should by this point. Another fellow streamer, good friend. Stopping in. And once this requires 1200 a minute, I'm going to back this off to about 12. And we'll start slowing down here. Let's see, there's no speed restriction on the approach there. We'll start going around now, do 1200 or so. Then we'll bug 250 just to start getting a little slower. There we go. TBM says, FYI, the only ADAS I see on Navigraph is indicating 19 ops. I'm going to extend downwind, but not far behind you. Yeah, the wind, let's see, I just went off wind, that's it. It says 3405, so I picked runway 1 for that reason. It's 20 degrees off. But it's a 5-knot wind, so it's still calm. Let me get the seat tap up for this. You know you're flying with us, so thank you for flying with us. Appreciate that. Uh, 18075. There comes 250. 18075. Jacksonville traffic, Endeavor 1333, planning RNAV X-ray runway 1, currently direct over OMVA from the east. 13 descending 1000. So we're gonna be above 11.7 there. Got a little bit of thrust. Let's set 11,000. It's visual, so even if we're not, we're quite okay. 11,000 puts me there. So I'm gonna reduce my rate of descent here. We're gonna do 800 a minute. A little bit of thrust. I want this line to get extended a bit more closer towards Valvu, so I'll do 500 a minute. And you can see the airplane is smart turning. Notice how it's turning very early, and it's smart turning R2 Vazvu, whatever the thing's called. We're at about 24 mile final, so I'll tell them that. Jacksonville traffic number 1323, turning 24 mile final, runway 1, RNAV X-ray, runway 1. Alright. Let's go ahead and box that message. Sync up our heading indicator. Might have turned a little early. You can see straight into the valley there. Runway 1's going to be somewhere over there. I'm going to get Sky Dolly up and running here. I'm also going to start slowing down. And we'll start descending a bit steeper here. Let's set our next of 10,004 just to make sure we'll make that. Set this to about 220. And I'll get Sky Dolly running there. We'll start reporting shortly. Set up our heading bug. I'm going to lock my rudder pedals in. Maybe a little bit of speed brake action. No shame in the CRJ. Spoilers are used quite often. They also don't do much. They're about the size of a forearm. We'll go flap 1. Get rid of the spoiler. And we'll go flap 8. Descend down a bit steeper. We're gonna go gear down. This is gonna be an RNAV approach, so we want to get nicely configured pretty early. Pretty high on the slope currently. It's at 90, what was it, 95? Go flap 20. And passing Zugin at 9,500 feet a minute. We're gonna want about probably 800 a minute or so. Flap 30. Ooh, look at that. 185 is the max on flap 30 there. Below 170. Flap 45. RF of 130, I think 6 I said. 10.5 for 9.5. Start recording. There's a runway already in sight. It'll be visual and video calls. Jacksonville traffic, Endeavour 1333, RNAV runway 1, 10 mile final. Alts cap at 95. I'm going to set our missed approach altitude in there of 14,000. I don't know why the airplane went straight up to a nose up attitude like that, but we'll add some thrust for that. 14,000 is set for the miss, and we're going to go ahead and do our vertical speed, 700 a minute. Yeah, I found that's also a bug. Basically, anytime you touch the autopilot panel during an alts cap, it just is really weird. Like, it does that weird altitude thing where it just noses up. Stuff like that. But anyway, 14,000 set for the mist. It's not quite doing the vertical speed that I've requested of it, which it should start doing now. Should be more on the game of that. See, look at that. Anytime you touch it outside the alts cap, it just kind of gets strange. Might just be turbulence, but that's quite a bit of turbulence. Anyways, the MDA is 7590. So before we get to 7590, we are going to turn the autopilot off, and we are going to disconnect the flight directors as well. Yeah, I did post a replay tool video today. And this airplane is not, not really doing the feet per minute required. So we'll turn that off. Turn the flight director off. Yeah, in real world, we on this RNAV type descent approach, we do set missed approach altitude, and we're in vertical speed going down with a higher altitude, and that's pretty standard for us to do. And it seems like in the sim, the airplane is like, it knows the altitude is set higher, so it just doesn't respond all that nicely to vertical speed commands if you're going down and the altitude selector is higher. But anyways, we still have a white snowflake, which is kind of an advisory VNAV. So I'll get back on the slope. Don't know why the windows are always icing up in the sim. It's not a thing. But especially in these conditions, we have window heat for a reason. It's free, Skydoll. It's a really awesome program, actually. Yeah, I made a video on it earlier. Super easy. Download, install, extract it, put it anywhere you like, start it up, press record, and she's good to go. Make sure I'm recording. I am. All right, let's get back into the airplane here. Jacksonville traffic, number 1333, 5 mile final, runway 1. Okay, well, the gear is down. Let's go ahead and do the rest of my flow here before I get distracted. This is where it's nice to have two people. The reverse is armed, the gear is down, flap 45. The lane light I'll do with my mini overhead panel. Yeah, like I can't even see the runway with all this ice stuff. I don't know why I have icing. I've been out of cloud for a while, plus I got window heat on, but yeah, it's pretty unrealistic. But all the icing effect stuff is in the sim, at least. So I'm gonna start going away from that guy and just kind of start visually navigating myself. I can keep it as a background, but I'm more kind of concerned with what's actually happening outside. Check stable. We got a wind from the left. Pretty minor. It's 5 knot wind. I'm gonna get a little low on the slope so I can make my touchdown zone marker a bit, and we're visual, so we can do that.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reverse, brake. Ice all over the windshield, check. 90 knots. Gonna go right to the end. I could have forced the brake a bit more, but we're not gonna throw everybody in their seats for that. Captain Reese, I'm not gonna give that information away, sorry about that. It's a North American RJ carrier. Listen, game. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Thanks, I appreciate that. And as I said, it's a short strip, so if you can butter it, great. Not really the objective. The objective is touchdown zone, get it stopped, and obviously don't break anything, people included. But get it stopped and off to the hotel. We're gonna wait till our tail is clear of this line, not just your nose. The tail has to be clear of this, then we'll call we're clear of the runway. Probably good around there. Jacksonville traffic, Endeavor 1333, clear, runway 1. Now, I'm going to stop here and use my GSX. I want to go see this guy do his landing real quick.
Jacksonville traffic, Atlas 5730, 5 miles final.
It's a 5 mile final. I'll increase my drone speed. I'll turn that off. I'm just going to set this camera up. Kind of roughly here. Hopefully we're still taxiing straight. Something like that. Oh, he's landing 19? Alright, let me just make sure I'm going straight. Alright, and I'll just spin myself around. Sketching calling, they need you to operate back. No! Speak! No, I'm joking. Yeah, that happened. I actually haven't... I had that happen once to me. And that was... I had to ferry an airplane back. It was at 10 p.m. and we just got to LaGuardia. And wanted us to ferry something. I don't see him on 19, but I'll keep an eye out for him over there. ATIS is 19, yeah, ATIS is 19, wind is 1, so with no one here, I'm taking runway 1. I won't actively choose a tailwind if I can help it. I've already had to go around in real life due to a tailwind once, and I don't do that again. He's a 175. Oh, I'm not going to watch that landing. Who wants to see a 175 come in? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Traffic on final U19 or runway 1?
JSL traffic Skylos 5730, we're landing runway 19.
Okay, cool. We'll get you in the stream here. Alright, well, we're all set up for runway 19. I guess I should stop recording, eh? I'm still recording my my flight with Sky Dolly. We'll go back and watch a replay after. We got a nice cool Delta 319 parked off to the left there. Pretty sweet. I used to do this actually a lot when I got my MCDU from Windwing. I used to do a lot of with the A319 out here. Oh yeah, I probably should do my afters, shouldn't I? Let's set this camera back up and then we'll do that real quick. I said 5 mile final. That's about a minute and a half. Anyways, so go flaps. The landing light can go off. The taxi light can go on, but it's going to be turned off anyways. The APU can start getting fired up. Aft RO to off. Probes off. The wing anti-ice wasn't required. Radar was never used. Transponder can stay on number 2. Let's go take a look. There he is, starting to pop into view. I'll leave it kind of like this. We'll do the world's quickest gate. We'll shut down number 1 because we have the 2 minutes on the bleeds. Yep. Still got time. Yeah. No, my scenery didn't really load all that well here. Alright, I'll kind of just keep it going like that. Whoa. Whoa. Uh-oh. Go around. I don't know if that was a bug or not, but that looked interesting. If you were floating that much in a runway this short, it would have been a go. But if you in a sim, you can just slam on the brakes and fire them up and heat them up. That's not looking too good, though. And disconnect. Okay, well, that's why we go around, guys. And we're going to go to the right. I was always taught before as well, during training for IFR a long time ago, that every approach you do, treat as a go-around. And if you happen to land, then you happen to land. But treat your approach, you're approaching to a go-around. You can treat it like that. We'll set that guy up. Parking brakes on. The other engine's off. The rest of the anti-ice is off. The APU's taking over the load. We'll kick off the other engine. Go ahead and get the belts to off. The fuel pump off. The hydraulic 3A off. The beacon light and taxi light should have been, strobe light should have been off. That's all good. The steering switch can go off. Transponder to standby. And the door can be open. That's it. I'll show you guys the replay here. Let me get back with the comments here, and then I'll read what you guys said. I see him at 19. I was watching observer mode network. Okay, cool. I says, yeah, but there's no VATSIMATIS, so it's up to the pilot. Yeah, I'm choosing runway 1 all day with that win. It's not that I mean, it'd be a 5-knot tailwind, it's not nothing crazy, but could be worse. Could be a 145. Yeah, exactly. Tower's closed as 30 minutes ago. No such thing as an active runway, anyways. He says, I wonder if he's flying the FSS or X crafts. Yeah, I'm not sure. Adam just just looking at the approach. Yeah, that approach I think was a good example of what not to do, as I said in Top Gun. Maverick does what does she say in the movie? I don't know. Anyways, don't do that. Always go around. That was a classic when the stall drop was happening. First of all, that's your first sign to go around. And then the panic pull and you're floating, second sign to go around. Great stream. Awesome. Thanks for watching. And we're about to do the replay. So let's get back in the airplane here. And I'll just give you a quick look-see at it. There's it all parked up. Probably not the best job. It should be probably more in there. But I don't have a marshaller, so. Anyways, let's get this thing returned to taxi state. Aircraft, return to taxi. Already taxi. Flaps to full. I'll kind of get it in a landing configuration here. That's going to do it itself. That's going to do it itself. Bring these thrust levers up. All right. Let's press play. And I'll go from about there-ish. Okay, that was too quick. As you can see, this runway is quite hilly and sloped. These slope runways can play a lot of tricks on you. So there's me getting low on the slope so I can then flare right into the touchdown zone marker. There we go. Bit of a high flare, but that's okay. And it's very hard. No one really talks about this actually, but I'll mention it here. No one really talks about that in 2D land, in the sim world without VR. It's actually quite difficult to get a real nice perspective on when to flare. So most people in the sim are going strictly based off numbers, like 20 feet flare. Whereas in real life, the reason we go 50 feet eyes down the runway is so we can have that peripheral vision and judge how high we should start flaring, or when should we start flaring, how much we should pull. You don't really get that in the sim. Unless you have a VR running. So I should have been more left of line. So then when I added to my rudder, we could have been on the line. So that was quite poorly done by me in that case there. There's the E-175 there. I don't know what he's doing there. And that's the other thing in the sim is, so yeah, the 3D vision. Oh, I guess I should disconnect my rest, shouldn't I? I'm a noob at this. That's the other thing in real world, you don't get that 3D, and you can't really tell how much you are or are not on the center line. / crab angle in the RJ feels a bit weird in this 2D view, and I just realized I missed the entire landing because I'm looking around here. We'll go back. With the beauty of Sky Dolly, we can go back. Play some gaming. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Adam, in the sim, you're often changing aircraft type every few flights, so I wheel height can mess you up too. Yep, for sure. Definitely can. I says that was like the perfect timing for flare. Any longer, it would have. Yeah, it would have been a slammer. Yeah, thanks, Sky. I would just remember about that. What's tomorrow's route? I don't have one yet. Tomorrow might be, but tomorrow I'm actually meeting up with some friends. So we're not going to be doing much streaming tomorrow, but maybe during the day if I can squeeze something in there. Yeah. You're still troubleshooting, eh? Yeah, that's a weird one that you're having. It's only 24. I just started getting to 24, so I'll be no help to that. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for watching, Sky. And heavier as well. Charlotte to Newark. That's a pretty cool route. We can do that. Is that Endeavor or Blue Streak? It's probably a Blue Streak route. But we're gonna call it there. I'll leave you guys with let's say a wing view, and we'll call it there. So thank you guys for joining. Be sure to go check out the brand new video on the PU Air Korea minimized overhead panel, or miniature overhead panel. It just got released today on my channel, so go check that out, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Share, comment, like, subscribe. Have a good night.